Good morning, class. Today we're going to start to read a story about the Titanic, which was a very large ship, and some young people who were on it and survived its sinking. But before we get into that, I want to go over some words that we are going to go over and use a lot as we study this story. The first one is compare and contrast. Comparar y contrastar. When you compare things, you look for things that are the same or very close to each other. So, here I have a collection of spoons. When we compare them, we can see they're all spoons. Some might be a stirring spoon, some might be a serving spoon, but they're all spoons, so we have compared them. Now, we're going to contrast them. Here are these spoons. What is different about them? Well, this one is very large and made out of metal. This one is made out of plastic and it's smaller. This one is smaller yet, but it's still a pretty big spoon. These two are smaller. So when I ask you to compare and contrast, I'm asking you to look for the things first that are the same or very close to each other, and then the things that are different. It could be about people. Compare and contrast these two characters. It could be about the settings of a story, where they're located, what's going on. Now our next word is ocean liner. Transatlantico. An ocean liner is a really big ship that is used to take people across oceans. Here's a picture of one. This would be from the 1920s or the 1930s. Ocean liners are still used. They're even bigger than they were in the days of the Titanic. Several thousand people can ride on some of those, and that doesn't even include the crew, the people who work on the boat. So an ocean liner is a very big ship. The third word we're going to talk about is steerage, or tercera clase. On boats, just like on airplanes, there are different classes of people. There are the very rich, there are the people in the middle, and there are the poorest people. And the poorest people rode in steerage, tercera clase. Their rooms often didn't have windows. The furnishings weren't particularly fancy or anything. Here we have a picture of two smoking rooms from the Titanic. You can see the top one is quite fancy, and the bottom one is very plain. And the bottom one is the one where the people in steerage would go. So our three words are compare and contrast, ocean liner, and steerage. And we'll be using all of those as we go through this story. There's one more thing I want you to do as we're going through this story. I want you to take a page in your journal or your notebook, and as you see words that aren't familiar to you, words you might not know or can't figure out, write them down. And then we'll go over the words as we discuss the book so everything is clear. Now, let's get started.